Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings everyone. Today we're diving into the dynamic world of politics, specifically focusing on the parliamentary system of Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. This region, rich in culture and history, has its own unique electoral process that is as captivating as it is complex. So fasten your seatbelts as we embark on a thrilling journey to unravel the intricacies of Barmm's parliamentary elections. Elections are a crucial part of democratic governance, allowing citizens to have a say in who represents them and how their society is run. Elections can take various forms, including general, presidential, parliamentary, local elections, and referendums depending on the political system and level of government. Candidates, often from different political parties, campaign to win votes, presenting their policy platforms and ideologies. Eligible voters, typically citizens aged 18 or older, cast their votes on election day, either at polling station or through early or portal voting. After the polls close, votes are counted and the candidate or party with the most votes is declared the winner. For an election to be legitimate, it must be free and fair, meaning all eligible voters can vote without intimidation or fraud, and vote counting is accurate and transparent. Let's now discuss the Bangsamoro Organic Law or the BOL. The Bangsamoro Organic Law serves as the founding law for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. It was passed by the Congress of the Philippines to provide a legal framework for the establishment and governance of the Barmm. This means that the Bangsamoro Organic Law was approved and enacted by the Congress of the Philippines. Its purpose is to create a set of laws and regulations that serve as a foundation for the establishment and governance of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The BOL provides a legal framework that defines first the structure. It establishes the executive, legislative, and judicial branches that are separate from the national government. Ibig sabihin nito, may sariling mga leader at institusyon ang Barmm na namamahala sa kanilang mga gawain. Ang mga leader sa Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao ay tinatawag na Bangsamoro government officials o opisyal ng pamahalaang Bangsamoro. Sila ang mga individual na nagsisilbing mga pinuno at kinatawan ng pamahalaan ng Barmm. So kasama dito ang Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister, mga miyembro ng Bangsamoro Transition Authority or yung BTA at iba pang mga opisyal na naglilingkod sa iba't ibang sektor ng pamahalaan ng Barmm. Ang mga leader na ito ay may mahalagang papel sa pagpapatakbo at pag-unlad ng rehiyon. Halimbawa ng mga institusyon ng Barmm ay ang Bangsamoro Transition Authority or BTA, Bangsamoro Islamic Armed Forces or BIAF, Bangsamoro Justice System, Bangsamoro Human Rights Commission, Ministry of Basic Higher and Technical Education or MBHTE at marami pang iba. In terms of powers and responsibilities of the Barmm government, BOL empowers the Barmm with autonomy and decision-making power, allowing it to address the specific needs and aspirations of the Bangsamoro people. By establishing clear guidelines, the BOL ensures that the Barmm operates within a legal framework and promotes effective governance in the region. In simple terms, the BOL created the Barmm, allowing self-governance and safeguarding the rights of the Bangsamoro people. Next, the BOL provides a framework for the parliamentary system in the Barmm, including the distribution of seats among different categories to ensure fair representation and inclusivity in the legislative body. It specifies the total number of seats in the Bangsamoro Parliament, which is composed of 80 members. These seats are divided into three kinds: the party seats, district seats, and reserved seats. Ang mga party seats sa Bangsamoro Parliament ay ipinamamahagi sa mga political party batay sa bilang ng mga boto na kanilang natanggap sa party elections. Hindi tiyak na nakasaad sa Bangsamoro Organic Law ang eksaktong bilang ng mga party seats dahil ito ay nakasalalay sa proporsyon ng mga boto na natanggap ng bawat party. So, halimbawa, kung ang Party A ay nakatanggap ng mas mataas na porsyento ng mga boto kumpara sa ibang mga partido, sila ay bibigyan ng mas maraming party seats sa Bangsamoro Parliament. Sa kabilang banda, kung ang Party B naman ay nakatanggap ng mas mababang porsyento ng mga boto, sila ay bibigyan ng mas kaunting party seats. So, ang sistemang ito ay nagbibigay ng patas na representasyon ng iba't ibang political party sa Bangsamoro Parliament batay sa suporta na natanggap nila mula sa mga botante. Ang mga district seats ay ipinamamahagi sa mga tiyak na geographical na distrito sa loob ng Barmm. Ang BOL ay nagbibigay ng probisyon para sa paglikha ng mga electoral district at bawat distrito ay bumoboto ng isang kinatawan sa Bangsamoro Parliament. Ibig sabihin, ang Barmm ay hinati sa mga tiyak na distrito para sa layuning pampolitika. Bawat distrito ay may kinatawang ibinoboto ng mga residente nito upang maging kinatawan sa Bangsamoro Parliament. So, sa pamamagitan ng pagkakaroon ng mga district seats, ang mga residente ng bawat distrito ay may kinakatawang nagre-representa sa kanilang mga interes at pangangailangan sa loob ng Bangsamoro Parliament. Halimbawa, dito sa ating lugar sa Cotabato City, bilang isang tiyak na distrito sa loob ng Barmm, mayroon tayong sariling lokal na pamahalaan na kinabibilangan ng ating mayor, mga konsehal at iba pang mga government officials, 'di ba? Ang mga opisyal na ito ay naglilingkod sa Cotabato City upang pangalagaan ang mga lokal na interes at pangangailangan ng ating komunidad. Sa madaling salita, ang reserve seats ay mga espesyal na upuan na inilaan para sa tiyak na sektor at grupo sa loob ng Bangsamoro Parliament. Ito ay ginawa upang bigyan ng boses at representasyon ang mga sektor na hindi sapat na kinakatawan sa parlamento. Kasama sa mga sektor na ito ang mga katutubo, kababaihan, mga komunidad ng mga naninirahan at iba pang sektor na nangangailangan ng higit na representasyon. So, ang mga reserve seats ay nagbibigay ng pagkakataon sa mga miyembro ng mga sektor na ito na maging bahagi ng proseso ng paggawa ng batas at maglahad ng kanilang sariling mga isyu at pangangailangan. Ito ay isang hakbang tungo sa pagiging mas inklusibo at pagkapantay-pantay ng Bangsamoro Parliament kung saan ang iba't ibang sektor ay may boses at kinakatawan sa pagdedesisyon ng mga batas at patakaran. Next, the BOL also sets general qualifications for members of the Bangsamoro Parliament. These qualifications include being a Filipino citizen, at least 25 years old, a registered voter in the Barmm, and having the ability to read and write. So mamaya, mag-dig deeper tayo about sa topic na ito. So, yung mga qualifications na aking nabanggit ay mahalaga upang matiyak na ang mga individual na maging miyembro ng Bangsamoro Parliament ay may sapat na kaalaman at kakayahan upang magampanan ang kanilang mga tungkulin. To facilitate the electoral process in the Barmm, the BOL mandates the creation of the Bangsamoro Electoral Office or the BEO by the Commission on Elections or the COMELEC. The BEO is responsible for conducting and overseeing the electoral activities in the region, including voter registration, candidate filing, and the counting and canvassing of votes. Sa madaling salita, ang BOL ay nagtatakda ng paglikha ng Bangsamoro Electoral Office or BEO na siyang responsable sa mga gawain sa halalan sa Barmm. So, ang layunin nito ay upang matiyak na malinis at patas ang halalan sa rehiyon. Ang BEO ay nagpapatupad ng mga patakaran at regulasyon para sa halalan at nagpapakita ng integridad din sa proseso ng pagboto. Sa pamamagitan nito, binibigyan ng boses at kapangyarihan ang mga mamamayan ng Barmm sa pagpili ng kanilang mga kinatawan sa pamahalaan. Lastly, the BOL establishes an electoral system for both the district elections and the party elections. The district elections follow a first-past-the-post system, where the candidate with the highest number of votes in each district wins the seat. The party elections, on the other hand, use a proportional representation system, where the allocation of party seats is based on the proportion of votes received by each political party. Ang BOL DBOL ay isang batas na nagtatag ng isang sistema ng halalan para sa mga distrito at mga pribado sa Barmm. Ang layunin nito ay magkaroon ng patas na representasyon ng mga individual at mga partido sa pamahalaan ng rehiyong ito. Una, pag-usapan natin ang halalan ng distrito. Sa halalan sa distrito, ang mga lugar o distrito ay hinahati at ang mga botante sa bawat distrito ay boboto para sa kanilang kinatawan. Ang sistema na ginagamit dito ay tinatawag na first past the post. Ibig sabihin, ang kandidato na makakakuha ng pinakamaraming boto sa isang distrito ang siyang mananalo at magiging kinatawan ng distrito na iyon sa pamahalaan. Halimbawa, kung mayroong 3 kandidato sa isang distrito at ang unang kandidato ay nakakuha ng pinakamaraming boto, siya ang mananalo at siya ang magiging kinatawan ng distrito na iyon. Pangalawa, pag-usapan naman natin ang halalan ng partido. Sa halalan ng partido, ang mga boto ng mga botante ay hindi direkta para sa mga individual na kandidato kundi para sa mga partido. Ang sistema na ginagamit dito ay tinatawag na proportional representation. Sa sistema na ito, ang mga pwesto ng partido ay ibinabahagi batay sa proporsyon ng mga boto na natanggap ng bawat partido. Halimbawa, kung ang isang partido ay nakakuha ng 40% ng kabuoang mga boto, makakakuha sila ng 40% ng mga pwesto sa partido. Ito ay isang paraan upang masigurado na ang mga partido ay may tamang representasyon sa pamahalaan batay sa suporta na natanggap nila mula sa mga botante. So, these provisions in the BOL aims to ensure a fair and representative parliamentary system in the Barmm, where different sectors and groups have a voice in the legislative process and where elections are conducted in a transparent and democratic manner. Okay, so next thing we will discuss is about the Bangsamoro Electoral Code, or also known as the Bangsamoro Autonomous Act No. 35, was approved by the BTA last March 9, 2023. So, itong Bangsamoro Electoral Code, it serves as the legal framework for the electoral process in the Barmm region. The Bangsamoro Electoral Code also provides the specific functions of the Bangsamoro Electoral Office, or the BEO. The BEO is the administrative body responsible for overseeing and implementing the electoral process in the Barmm. It ensures the integrity, transparency, and fairness of the election. So, here is an overview of the functions of the Bangsamoro Electoral Code. First is in terms of the allocation of seats, the BEC establishes the system for the allocation of seats in the Bangsamoro Parliament. Ang ibig sabihin nito, ang BEC or the Bangsamoro Electoral Code ang siyang nagtatakda ng mga patakaran at procedures para sa pagtukoy ng bilang ng mga upuan na dapat makuha ng bawat partido, distrito at yung mga reserved categories. Ito ay nagtitiyak ng patas na representation and proportional distribution of seats among different stakeholders. Ang sunod ay ang electoral process oversight. So, the BEC outlines the specific functions and responsibilities of the Bangsamoro Electoral Office. So, ang BEO ay ang administratibong ahensya na siyang responsable sa pagbabantay at pagpapatupad ng proseso ng halalan sa Barmm. So, ito ang nagtataguyod ng integridad, transparency, and fairness ng mga halalan. Registration process is also one of the functions of the Bangsamoro Electoral Office. Bangsamoro Electoral Office lays out the registration process for electoral contestants, including political parties, candidates, and voters. So later on ay malalaman natin yung registration process. So it specifies the requirements and procedures for participation in the electoral process, and this ensures that eligible individuals and organizations have the opportunity to register and participate in the elections. Another function of the Bangsamoro Electoral Office is that Um, it provides mechanisms for resolving electoral disputes. So, ito ay ang BEC ang nagtatatag ng mga procedures para sa paghahain ng mga reklamo, complaints, pagsasagawa ng mga investigations at pag-resolve ng mga alitan na may kaugnay sa proseso ng halalan. So, ito ay tumutulong sa pagpapanatili ng credibility at legalidad ng sistema ng halalan. Another function is the voter education. So, ang BEC ay maaaring maglaman ng mga provisions para sa mga programa sa edukasyon ng mga botante. Ang mga programang ito ay naglalayong magbigay ng impormasyon at edukasyon sa mga botante tungkol sa kanilang mga karapatan, responsibilidad at proseso ng halalan. Ang edukasyon sa botante ay tumutulong sa pagpapalaganap ng maalam at aktibong pakikilahok sa mga halalan. The last function, we have campaign finance regulations or yung mga patakaran sa pananalapi ng kampanya. Ang BEC ay maaaring maglaman din ng mga regulations sa pananalapi ng kampanya. Ito ay nagtatakda ng mga gabay at limitations sa gastusin sa kampanya, mga contributions at pagpapahayag ng impormasyon sa pananalapi. Ito ay tumutulong sa pagpapanatili ng transparency at pananagutan sa pagpapondohan ng mga kampanya sa halalan.
So, the next one is, what is the Bangsamoro Registration and Accreditation Committee? So, ano nga ba yung Bangsamoro Registration and Accreditation Committee? So, the Bangsamoro Registration Accreditation Committee, or BRAC, is composed of Regional Election Director, the Assistant Regional Election Director, and the Provincial Election Supervisor of the province, where the principal office of the regional political party is located in Barmm, or where the election matter is filled. So, the BRAC is responsible for receiving and processing application for registration and or accreditation of regional and local political parties, monitoring compliance with laws and issuance on the utilization of party subsidy, and other assistance received from the public fund. It collegially recommends proper action and forward to the same COMELEC in advance. So yun nga guys, the Bangsamoro Registration and Accreditation Committee, it is composed of the Regional Election Director, number 2 is the Assistant Regional Election Director, and the last is the Provincial Election Supervisor of the province, where the principal office of the regional political party is located in Barmm, or where the election matter is filled. So, at the discretion of the COMELEC, the BRAC shall be provide the necessary financial and human resources as will allow the efficient and effective performance of its power of function. So, in addition, the power of the function of the Bangsamoro Registration and Accreditation Committee, the BRAC shall, in a relation to application for registration and or accreditation of regional and local political parties, receive all such application and ensure their compliance with the requirements and qualification prescribed in the code, and the acting collegially recommended proper action and forward the same to the COMELEC in BRAC. So, upon compliance of any interested party, ascertain as compliance by any regional political party with the continuing requirements for its registration and acting collegially, submit is recommended to COMELEC in branch. Monitoring the conduct of General Assembly, Party Convention, and such other act and activities as may be required to this code and the other enactment of the Bangsamoro Parliament, and other selection of the nominees for election of each of the regional political parties, monitoring the regional political parties' compliance with the laws of issuance of the utilization of party subsidies of the assistance received from public funds. So, another, the Bangsamoro Registration and Accreditation Committee resolution. Upon concurrence of the majority of the three-member, all action of the BRAC shall be in the form of a resolution submitted to the COMELEC within the periods prescribed by this code. So, the budget of the BO shall form part of the yearly budget of the COMELEC without prejudice to any financial and other form of support that may be appropriate by the Bangsamoro Parliament to augment the BEO operational requirements, including expenses for the conduct of assemblies in relation to the election of sector representative during an election year in the form of the election reserve fund. Notwithstanding the foregoing, local government shall continue to appropriate fund to defray necessary and reasonable expenses of the EB or BOC and the printing of the election forms and procurement of the other election paraphernalia and the installation of voting center. So, in addition, the Bangsamoro Registration and Accreditation Committee is involved in the Bangsamoro Electoral Code. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region Muslim Mindanao approved the Electoral Code, which include the structure of the parliament. So, according to the code, the parliament is composed of 80 members with 50% party representative, 40% district representative, and the sectoral representative. So, this code requires all the parties intending to register all political parties to submit application to the Bangsamoro Election Office or BEO. Through the Bangsamoro Registration and Accreditation Committee. However, it's nothing that there have been controversies surrounding this electoral code. Several leaders from the Barmm filed with the petition before the Supreme Court, asking for the nullification of the provision of the Bangsamoro Electoral Code for being unconstitutional.
Now let's discuss the Bangsamoro Electoral Office. What is the Bangsamoro Electoral Office? The Bangsamoro Electoral Office is established by and under the direct control and supervision of the Commission on Election, COMELEC, in accordance with the Bangsamoro Organic Law, which is the BOL, and the Bangsamoro Electoral Code. What is the difference between the Bangsamoro Electoral Office and the Commission in Election or COMELEC? The Bangsamoro Electoral Office and the Commission on Election, which is the COMELEC, are both involved in the electoral process in the Philippines, but they have a different rules and jurisdictions. The Bangsamoro Electoral Office is an office established by the COMELEC in accordance with the provisions of the Bangsamoro Organic Law and the Bangsamoro Electoral Code. Its role is specific to the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The Bangsamoro Electoral Office is responsible for conducting election within the Barmm, including ballot recounts and officiating hearings, and making a recommendation based on the outcomes. The Bangsamoro Electoral Office is also involved in the registration and accreditation of regional political parties subject to the approval by the COMELEC. On the other hand, the Commission on Election, or better known as a COMELEC, is a constitutionally body of the Philippines. COMELEC is in charge of enforcing all laws and regulation related to the conduct of election in the country. It includes the supervision of the organization and operation of political parties, including their accreditation, the nomination and registration of candidates, and the conduct of the electoral campaigns and plebiscites. In addition, the COMELEC has a broader nationwide jurisdiction, while the Bangsamoro Electoral Office focuses on the electoral processes within the Barmm or Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Then, let's proceed to the powers and function of the Bangsamoro Electoral Office. The number one is exercise administrative supervision over the provincial, city, and municipal election offices under it. So, as an administrative supervisor in the COMELEC, our role is involved exercising oversight and management of provincial, city, and municipal election offices. It includes providing the guidance, support, and supervision to these offices to ensure the smooth and efficient implementation of electoral processes at the local level. The number two, conducting continuing voter registration and validation of the voters' records. So as a COMELEC officers, we are responsible for conducting ongoing voter registration and validating voters' records. This involves facilitating the registration of eligible voters and ensuring the accuracy and integrity of the voter information, to maintaining an updated and reliable voters database, which is essential for fair and credible elections. Number 3 is prepare and maintain a complete, accurate, and updated voters list. So this involves compiling and organizing voter information, verifying eligibility, and ensuring the accuracy of the voter to prepare and maintain a comprehensive, accurate, and up-to-date voters list. By maintaining an updated voters list, you contribute to the integrity of the electoral process and enable smooth and efficient voting procedures. The number 4, implement election laws and policies, resolutions, rules, regulation, decisions, and related guidelines of the COMELEC. So, this is a implement into action the rules and guidelines set by the COMELEC to ensure a fair and orderly electoral process. The number 5, render legal opinion and advice on provisions of election laws and implement resolutions of the COMELEC for the guidance of its field personnel, other concerned government officials and employees, non-government organizations, citizens, arms, and other interested parties. It means providing expert legal guidance and advice on electoral matters, interpreting election laws, and ensuring that all parties involved understand and follow the rules and regulations set by the COMELEC to ensure the smooth running of the electoral process and promotes fairness and transparency. Number 6, supervise and monitor the implementation of various projects of the COMELEC and submit required reports thereon. So as the COMELEC supervisor, our role is to oversee and monitor the implementation of various projects carried out by the Commission on Elections. This ensuring that the projects are executed according to the plan, tracking process, and ensuring that all necessary tasks are completed. I'm responsible for submitting the required reports on the status and outcomes. Number 7. Conduct voter education and information campaigns in coordination with stakeholders such as, but not limited to, government agencies, ministries and level society, organizations to develop and monitor election information, drives and voter education programs that are accessible to all members of vulnerable sectors. So as a COMELEC officer, our responsibility is to conduct voter education and information campaigns in collaboration with various stakeholders, including the government agencies, ministries, and civil society organizations. Our goal is to develop and monitor election information drives and voter education programs that are accessible to all members of vulnerable sectors. This ensures that everyone, especially those from marginalized communities, has equal access to information and resources needed to participate in the electoral process. Number 8. Develop and maintain an efficient communication and transportation network with field subordinates for the effective and faster transmission of information to the various offices, departments of the COMELEC. So this is responsible for developing and maintaining an efficient communication and transportation network with field subordinates. This enables the effective and timely transmission of information to the various offices and departments of the COMELEC by ensuring a smooth flow of communication and reliable transportation to facilitate efficient coordination and decision-making within the organization, ultimately contributing to the effective execution of electoral processes and activities. Number 9. Coordinate with the other regional government agencies and local government units to ensure the holding of free, orderly, honest, peaceful, and credible elections. As a COMELEC coordinator, our task is to collaborate with regional government agencies and local government units to ensure the successful conduct of free, orderly, honest, peaceful, and credible election. This involves working closely with these entities to coordinate logistics, security measures, and other necessary arrangements to create a conducive environment for fair and transparent elections. The last, performing such other functions as may be assigned by the COMELEC. So as a staff member of the COMELEC, we are expected to perform any additional function or task assigned by the Commission on Election. These tasks may vary depending on the specific needs and priorities of the COMELEC at any given time. These assigned functions you contribute to the overall efficiency and effectiveness of the COMELEC's operation and its mission to ensure fair and credible election in the country. So this is report of the Bangsamoro Electoral Office. Thank you.
Election. The formal process of selecting a person for public office or of accepting or rejecting a political position by voting. It is important to distinguish between the form and the substance of elections. What is the difference between the Barmm parliamentary elections with other elections in the country? In the Barmm parliamentary elections, voters may vote for a maximum of 3 positions: district representatives, party representatives, and sectoral representatives. Voting for district representatives is similar to other elections in the country, where voters can vote for a candidate who will represent them. On the other hand, voting for party representatives will be quite different. Here, Voters will vote for parties instead of people. Elected parties will then be awarded a certain number of seats based on the amount of votes they received during the election. Will Barmm voters still vote for national and local candidates? Yes, Barmm voters will still vote for national and local candidates. The transition from ARM to Barmm did not make the Bangsamoro region a separate state from the Philippines. Under the BOL, the Bangsamoro region is an integral, indivisible, and inseparable part of the territory of the Republic of the Philippines. Meanwhile, national candidates are the President, Vice President, Senators, and party lists. Local candidates are House District Representatives, Governors, Vice Governors, Board Members, Mayors, Vice Mayors, and Councilors. When will the Barmm parliamentary elections be conducted? The first Barmm parliamentary elections are scheduled to be conducted in May of 2025. The Barmm parliamentary elections are conducted at the same time as the national and local elections. For the election of the sectoral representative seats for the 2025 parliamentary elections, each of the sectoral representatives shall be elected by each sector during an assembly called by accredited and registered sectoral organizations. However, in the 2028 parliamentary elections, the sectoral representatives will be elected by the registered voters who identify to be part of their sectors. For women, youth, and settler communities, the registered voters for each sector shall vote for their chosen sectoral representatives. For non-Moro indigenous people, traditional leaders, and the Ulama, the representatives for these sectors will also be chosen in their sector's assembly or convention. A rotational basis of selection will be established for the NMIP, traditional leaders, and Ulama representatives. Election process. Who can vote for the Barmm parliamentary elections? Any Filipino citizen in the Bangsamoro can register as a voter for the Barmm. The requirements are at least 18 years of age on or before the day of elections, a resident of the Philippines for at least 1 year and in the place, wherein he or she proposes to vote for at least 6 months immediately preceding the elections, and not otherwise disqualified by law. A person does not need to be a member of a political party to be able to cast their vote. However, for the 2028 elections onwards, a person may only vote for sectoral representatives if they are members of that sector. Do the voters vote for the chief minister of the Barmm Parliament? No. Voters will only be able to vote for regional political parties, district representatives, and sectoral representatives. The winners of this election form the parliament. They will choose among themselves who will become the chief minister. Usually, the party with the most number of seats gets to choose who the chief minister will be. What are the positions I'll be voting for in the Barmm parliamentary elections? A person will be able to vote for 3 representatives: district representatives, regional political party representatives, and sectoral representatives. Election process. What are the qualifications of candidates? For the regional political party representative, the requirements are a Philippine citizen, at least 25 years old at the time of election, able to read and write, registered voter in the Barmm nominee of the party they represent, member of the party at least 6 months before the elections as reflected in their submitted membership book. Who are party representatives? Half of the Barmm Parliament is made up of regional political party representatives. They are nominees of Barmm regional political parties who have received at least 4% of the total votes in the Barmm parliamentary elections. Then, 40 seats are distributed in proportion to votes received by all qualified parties in the Barmm parliamentary elections. Which parties can participate in the Barmm parliamentary elections? Only registered regional political parties may participate in the Barmm parliamentary elections. Regional political parties must have at least 10,000 members who are residents and registered voters therein. The members shall be distributed throughout the different provinces and cities comprising the Bangsamoro territory. All regional parties must have provincial and city chapters in all provinces and cities in the Barmm region, and municipal chapters in the majority of the municipalities comprising each province in the Bangsamoro. Provided further that a provincial chapter is required to have a municipal chapter in the majority of municipalities in that province. How are women supported by Barmm regional parties? Number 1, each party is required to have a women's agenda when they register as a party. Number 2, women and youth committees are mandatory in the party. And last, each party is required to have women duly represented in their roster of officers. How many votes must a party obtain to gain at least 1 seat in the Barmm parliamentary elections? A party must receive at least 4% of total valid votes cast for the party system election to be qualified to receive a seat in the Barmm parliament. What is the rationale for the 10,000 member requirement and the 4% election threshold? The 10,000 member requirement and the 4% election threshold demonstrates that a regional political party has garnered a minimum level of support from the electorate. It helps establish their legitimacy and ensures that only serious and credible contenders participate in the election process. The requirement also promotes the formation of broader and more cohesive political parties. This can contribute to political stability by encouraging collaboration and compromise among a broader base of supporters, potentially resulting in more inclusive policies and governance. Can I choose who among the parties will gain a seat in the Barmm Parliament? No. The nominees of the political parties are pre-selected by each regional political party in their party convention, which is held 1 year immediately before the parliamentary elections. Who can be nominees? Each regional political party must nominate 40 nominees. 30%, 12 out of 40, of which must be women. Nominees submitted by a political party shall not be related to each other within the second degree of consanguinity and affinity. No person shall be a member of the parliament unless the person is a citizen of the Philippines, at least 25 years of age on the day of the election, able to read and write, and a registered voter in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. However, a candidate for youth representative shall not be less than 18 years of age nor more than 30 years of age at the time of the election. Can members of the same family run for a party, district, and sectoral seats simultaneously? Yes, members of the same family can legally run for party seats, district seats, and sectoral seats simultaneously, even under the existing anti-political dynasty provision in the BEC. The provision in Section 90 of Article 3 of the BEC only prohibits regional political parties to field nominees for the party seats related within the second degree of consanguinity and affinity. Party seats, district seats, and sectoral seats are distinct seats categorized within the Bangsamoro electoral system. This means that family members can run simultaneously as long as for different seats, party, district, sectoral seats, and family members can run simultaneously for party seats as long as they belong to different regional political parties.
Okay, so now let's move on to the qualifications for candidates in the reserved seats and sectoral representatives. So first, candidates must be a citizen of the Philippines. Okay, so the requirements for candidates in the Philippines to be Philippine citizens help maintain the integrity of the electoral process, ensures that elected officials have a genuine connection and commitment to the country, and promotes effective representation of the Filipino people. Next, we have here the age requirement. So, it was said that candidates must be at least 25 years old on the day of the election. So, ang qualification na ito para sa mga candidates na dapat ay at least 25 years old sila sa araw ng election para ma-ensure that they have enough maturity and experience, and as well as legal capacity to make informed decisions and handle the responsibilities of public office. So it also allows for a balance between experienced candidates and para din makapagbigay ng opportunities sa mga younger individuals to participate in politics. Next, we have, in terms of literacy, candidates should be able to read and write. So, requiring the candidates to be able to read and write is very important because it ensures effective communication, understanding of legislation, access to information, representation of constituents, and promotes transparency and accountability. So, syempre, bago ka pumasok sa pagiging kandidato, dapat you should be able to read and write kasi how will you going to serve, contribute, and even communicate properly with your people if you don't even know how to read and write? Of course, candidates need these skills to communicate their ideas very well, understand the laws, analyze informations, and respond to the needs of the public. It also allows them to document their actions and promises, promoting transparency in their roles as elected officials. Next, in terms of residency naman, candidates must have resided in the region for at least 1 year prior to the election. So, requiring the candidates in an election to have resided in the region for at least 1 year prior to the election serves multiple purposes. Kasi it ensures that candidates are familiar with the local issues and needs of the community, allowing them to better represent the region's residents. It also helps candidates establish connections and build relationships then with the local community, enabling them to understand the values and aspirations of the region. Additionally, the residency requirements also demonstrates candidates' commitment to the region and prevents outside influence. So, it promotes this requirement promotes accountability, accessibility, and a genuine interest in serving the community. Next, in terms of we also have here registered voter, and it was said that candidates must be a registered voter in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. So, these requirements for candidates in elections to be registered voters in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region serve several purposes. So, firstly, it ensures the alignment of candidates with the Bangsamoro region's autonomy. So, by being registered voters, candidates demonstrate their recognition and acceptance na rin of the region's self-governance. This signifies their support and unity with the aspirations and goals of the Bangsamoro. So, secondly, it reflects the candidates' understanding and representation of the community's interest. Being registered voters in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region indicates that candidates have personal stakes and knowledge of the issues and needs of the community. So this enables them to better understand and articulate the aspirations and necessities of the region's residents. Moreover, the requirement showcases candidates' solidarity with the people of the region. So by being registered voters, the candidates demonstrate their desire to be part of the Bangsamoro community and serve them faithfully and effectively. So this fosters a sense of unity and commitment to the well-being of the region. And then lastly, the requirement strengthens local democracy within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. So, by being registered voters, candidates show their endorsement of the electoral process and value the rights of citizens to choose their representatives. This contributes to the empowerment of local democracy and allows candidates to better understand and advocate for the community's need. Next qualification or requirement is that candidates should belong to the respective sector they represent. So, ang mga sector na ito are the non-Moro indigenous people or the NMIP, settler communities, women, youth, traditional leaders, and the ulamas. Candidates belonging to the respective sectors they represent, namely non-Moro indigenous people, settler communities, women, youth, traditional leaders, and ulamas, are essential for ensuring proper representation and inclusivity in the decision-making process of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Firstly, candidates from the non-Moro indigenous people sector bring their unique perspectives, cultures, and needs to the table. Their representation ensures that their rights, traditions, and ancestral lands are respected and protected within the governance of the region. Secondly, candidates from settler communities represent the interests and concerns of the non-Muslim residents in the region. Their inclusion fosters inclusivity and diversity, allowing for a more comprehensive understanding of the challenges and aspirations of all communities within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Thirdly, women candidates play a crucial role in promoting gender equality and women empowerment or women's rights. Their representation ensures that women's voices are heard and their specific needs are addressed in policies and programs. This helps in creating a more equitable and inclusive society. Furthermore, including youth candidates allows for the active participation of the younger generation in shaping the future of the region. Their fresh perspectives, innovative ideas, and understanding of the challenges faced by young people contribute to the development of policies and programs that cater to their needs. Candidates from the traditional leaders sector bring with them the cultural and historical heritage of the Bangsamoro people. Their representation ensures the preservation and promotion of the region's cultural identity. Their traditional knowledge, wisdom, and values contribute to the decision-making process, fostering a sense of cultural pride and understanding. Lastly, ulama candidates represent the religious sector and play a vital role in promoting religious harmony, tolerance, and understanding within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Their guidance on matters related to Islamic principles and values is a big contribution to the development of a just and inclusive society. Okay, so having candidates from these respective sectors ensures that the diverse voices and needs of different groups within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region are represented and considered in the governance and decision-making processes. This promotes inclusivity, diversity, and the overall well-being of the region. The last requirement or qualifications for candidates is in terms of the age limit for youth representatives. So, the requirement for youth representative nominees is that they must be between the ages of 18 and 30 at the time of the election. So, ang age range na ito is set to ensure that young people have the opportunity to participate in the decision-making process and have their voices heard in governance. By setting an age limit, it aims to provide a platform for young individuals who are transitioning into adulthood to actively engage in the political and social affairs of their community or region. So, ngayon naman ay meron na tayong halimbawa nito is yung mga SKs or the Sangguniang Kabataan. So, familiar naman tayo rito, di ba? So, it recognizes that young people have unique perspectives, experiences, and concerns that should be taken into account when making decisions that affect their lives and the future. Okay, so ang mga qualifications na ito ay nag-i-ensure na yung mga candidates for reserved seat and sectoral representatives meet the certain criteria to represent specific sectors and communities within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Now let's move on to the sectoral representatives. So, who are the sectoral representatives? Sectoral representatives are individuals who are elected or appointed to represent specific sectors or interest groups in the government or legislative bodies. These representatives advocate for the concerns and interests and also the rights of their respective sectors and work towards addressing their specific needs and issues. The specific sectors and interest groups that have sectoral representatives can vary depending on the country and its political system. So, some of the examples of sectoral representatives include, first, the labor sector representatives. Ito yung nagkapaloob dito yung kinatawan ng mga manggagawa at mga unions. So, these representatives, yung mga representative dito sa labor sector, they advocate for the rights and welfare of workers, including employees in various industries and labor unions. Sumunod ay ang indigenous peoples representatives o yung mga kinatawan ng mga katutubo or ang mga indigenous peoples. So these representatives focuses on the concerns and rights of indigenous communities, working towards the preservation of their cultural heritage, land rights, and self-determination. Next is we have the women's sector's representative o yung kinatawan ng mga kababaihan at mga isyong may kinalaman sa kanila. So, yung mga representative dito, they work towards promoting gender equality, addressing women's right issues, and ensuring women's participation in decision-making process. So, dito na nakapaloob yung women empowerment. So, sumunod ay yung youth sector representatives or yung kinatawan ng mga kabataan at mga isyong may kinalaman sa kanila. So, yung mga representative dito, they represent the interests and concerns of young people, kapwa nila kabataan, advocating for youth empowerment, education, employment opportunities, and youth participation in governance. Next, another sector is the farmers and agricultural sector representatives or yung kinatawan ng mga magsasaka at mga komunidad sa agrikultura. So, mga representatives dito, they focus on the needs and issues of farmers, agricultural workers, and rural communities working towards agricultural development, land reform, and rural livelihood improvement. So, dito nakapaloob yung mga issues sa mga na-related sa agriculture and sa mga farmers. At ang panghuli ay environmental sector representatives. So, yung mga representative dito naman, they advocate for environmental protection, sustainable development, and the conservation of natural resources. So, it's very important to note that that the specific sectors and interest groups represented can vary from country to country, and the inclusion of sectoral representatives in the government or legislative bodies aim to ensure that a diverse range of voices and perspectives are considered in decision-making process. Ano naman ngayon yung mga qualifications sa sa pagiging sectoral representative? So una, minimum qualifications for members of the Parliament. So this typically refers to the basic requirements set by law for anyone who wishes to serve in the Parliament. This can include being a citizen of the country, being of a certain minimum age, being a registered voter, and dapat hindi ka nasasangkot sa kahit anong criminal cases. Pero ang tiyak na mga qualifications ay maaaring mag-iba depende sa bansa at sa konstitusyon o batas nito. Pangalawa, a bona fide member of the sector he or she seeks to represent. This means that the person must be a genuine and active member of the sector they wish to represent. For example, if someone wants to represent the labor sector, they should be a part of a labor union or work in a related field. This ensures that the representative has a direct connection to and understanding of the sector. Next qualification for sectoral representative is a member of a regional political party or sectoral organization duly registered and accredited by the COMELEC through the BEO. Ito ay nangangahulugang ang tao ay dapat miyembro ng isang pampulitikang partido o organisasyon na kumakatawan sa isang particular na sektor. Ang partido o organisasyong ito ay dapat rehistrado at opisyal na kinikilala ng Commission on Elections or COMELEC sa pamamagitan ng Bangsamoro Electoral Office sa Pilipinas. Pang-apat, ika-apat na qualifications for sectoral representative, we have youth representatives shall not be less than 18 years of age and not more than 30 years of age at the time of election. So, nabanggit ko na ito kanina. Ang qualification na ito kasi ay nagtitiyak na ang mga kinatawan ng kabataan ay nasa tamang edad na kanilang kinakatawan. Ito ay nagbibigay daan sa aktibong participation ng mga kabataan sa proseso ng politika at nagtitiyak na ang kanilang mga pangangailangan at mga issue ay may pahayag. Ikalima, meron tayong sector representatives of NMIP or the non-Moro indigenous people should have other qualifications as provided. NMIP likely refers to non-Moro indigenous peoples. This means that representatives of this sector should meet additional qualifications as specified by relevant laws, regulations, or guidelines. Maaaring ito ay may kaugnayan sa kanilang katayuan bilang katutubo, kanilang pakikilahok sa mga katutubong komunidad or organisasyon, o ang kanilang kaalaman at pangunawa sa mga kultura, karapatan at isyu ng mga katutubo. So yung mga qualifications na ito, they aim to ensure that sectoral representatives are capable, knowledgeable, and genuinely represent the interests and concerns of the sectors they serve. Ngayon, paano naman kaya ine-elect yung mga sectoral representatives? In the 2025 parliamentary elections, each of the sectoral representatives shall be elected by each sector during an assembly called by accredited and registered sectoral organizations. In 2028 parliamentary elections for women, youth, and settler communities, the registered voters for each sector shall vote for their chosen sectoral representatives. For women and youth, the representatives are those who will get the most number of votes, while the candidates for settler communities with the first and second most number of votes shall be elected as the sectoral representatives for their sectors. The candidates must come from regional political parties or sectoral parties or organizations accredited by COMELEC. For non-Moro indigenous peoples, a non-Moro indigenous people committee composed of the tribal leaders of the indigenous political structures of the various tribes will be created. The committee shall determine the rotation arrangement for the election of their two representatives in parliament. For traditional leaders, each sultanate shall be given equal opportunity on rotational basis to represent the traditional leaders in the parliament as a sectoral representative. The Bangsamoro Commission for the Preservation of Cultural Heritage or the BCPCH shall hold a regional convention of sultans representing the sultanates of Sulu, Maguindanao, Kabuntalan, and Buayan, Ranao and Iranun for the purpose of determining the order by which each of the sultanates shall represent the sector in the parliament. The result of this convention shall be submitted to the Bangsamoro Electoral Office. Next, the ulama sectoral representative shall be selected through a process that upholds the principle of shura in consultation and equal opportunity for representation on the basis of rotation. The Bangsamoro Darul Ifta shall create an ulama council which shall be composed of 7 respected and knowledgeable religious leaders coming from the 6 provinces of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and 1 from the Special Geographic Area.
Hi, so I am Almorad T. Eliman and I am going to discuss the former regional election to the current parliamentary election. So, ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba ng bagong Barmm kung ihahambing natin ito sa ARMM? The form of government or yung anyo ng pamamahala. Tulad ng ARMM, ang Barmm ay mananatili pa rin nasa pangangasiwa ng Pangulo ng Pilipinas. Kung ang ARMM ay executive and legislative separate ang anyo ng gobyerno, ang Barmm region naman ay isang parliamentary. So, ano nga ba itong parliament? Ang Bangsamoro Parliament ang magpapatupad ng kapangyarihan ng Bangsamoro government. Meron itong legislative authority na ginagampanan ng mga members of parliament. Sila ang responsible sa paggawa ng mga batas sa Barmm. Meron din itong executive authority na ginagampanan. Ito ay ginagampanan naman ng Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister, at Heads of Ministry. Sila ang magpapatupad ng mga batas at magsasagawa ng mga programa at proyekto para sa ikakaunlad ng Barmm. Ano naman ang meaning ng Parliamentary System of Government? So, isa itong uri ng pamahalaan kung saan ang ehekutibo ay inihahalal ng lehislatura. Ibig sabihin, ang Chief Minister o yung pinakapinuno ng Bangsamoro government ay hindi direktang iboboto ng bawat botante. Pipiliin lamang ito ng members of parliament. Ang Bangsamoro Organic Law o Republic Act Number Series 11054 ang siya namang lumikha sa Bangsamoro Parliament na may kapangyarihang executive and legislative sa ilalim ng parliamentaryong anyo ng pamahalaan. Sa ganitong anyo ng pamahalaan, ang mga mamamayan ng nasasakupang lalawigan ang naghahalal ng kanilang kinatawan sa parlamentaryo. Paano nila inihahalal at sino ang naghahalal sa kanila? Ang mga members of parliament ay inihahalal ng mga register na mga botante sa Barmm sa pamamagitan ng general election. Samantala, yung sa chief minister naman ay pagbobotohan ng mga nanalo na members of parliament sa unang araw ng sesyon. So yung napiling chief minister ay magno-nominate siya ng 2 deputy chief ministers na pagbobotohan rin ng members of the government. Dapat sa napili nung chief minister na 2 deputy chief minister ay nasa 2 magkaibang region ng Barmm na dapat hindi pinanggalingan or hindi pinagmulan noong chief minister. Halimbawa, kung yung chief minister ay galing sa southwestern Mindanao, ang 2 deputy chief minister ay dapat na manggaling sa north central at south central Mindanao. Sumatotal, 80 ang lahat ng uupo sa Bangsamoro Parliament. 50% nito or yung kalahati sa kanila ay kinatawan ng iba't ibang political parties. 40% naman or 32 sa mga miyembro nito ay kinatawan ng mga distritong kabilang sa Barmm. At 10% naman or 8 members of the Bangsamoro Parliament ay ang kinatawan ng mga sektor. Ang walong ito, 2 ang dapat nasa non-Moro or indigenous people and sa settler cities, habang may tag-iisang kinatawan ang sektor ng kababaihan, kabataan, traditional leaders, at ulama. Ang bawat miyembro ng Bangsamoro Parliament ay dapat na isang mamamayang Pilipino. Dapat ay rehistrado siya bilang botante at marunong magsulat at magbasa. At dapat hindi bababa sa 25 years old ang kanyang edad. Maliban na lang kung sila ay kinatawan ng kabataan. Ang mga kinatawan ng mga kabataan ay dapat hindi naman bababa sa 18 years old at hindi rin lalagpas sa 30 years old sa araw ng eleksyon. Para naman sa mga kinatawan ng district representative ay dapat ay rehistrado sa kanilang district na pinagsisilbihan at residente nito ng hindi bababa sa 1 taon bago ang araw ng eleksyon. Sa unang araw ng sesyon pagkatapos ng botohan, ang members of parliament ay pipili ng kanilang officers. Kabilang dito ang speaker, deputy speaker, at iba pang mga officers na kanilang napagdesisyonan. Ang mga nasabing members of the Parliament ay gagawa ng kanilang parliamentary rules. Para naman sa kanilang legislative function, ay ang bawat batas na kanilang ipapasa ay kailangan dumaan sa 3 readings sa magkakaibang araw. Maliban na lang kung nag-certify ang Chief Minister na urgent ang isang bill. Ang bill ay ipapasa sa Chief Minister at kailangan niya itong pirmahan sa loob ng 30 days. Kapag hindi niya naman ito napirmahan sa loob ng 30 days, ay kusa itong magiging batas. 10 araw pagkatapos mapirmahan ng Chief Minister ang batas, kailangan isumite ng Speaker of Parliament sa Pangulo or sa Kongreso ang certified true copy ng batas na inaprubahan ng Bangsamoro Parliament. Ang Bangsamoro government or ang government of the day ay maaaring mabuwag sa pamamagitan ng vote of no confidence ng 2/3 ng miyembro ng Parliament. Ang Chief Minister ay mag-aabisa sa wali o ceremonial head ng Bangsamoro Parliament na magsagawa muli ng eleksyon. Ang eleksyon ay dapat na ganapin sa loob ng 120 days mula sa pagkabuwag ng Parliament. Habang hinihintay ang bagong pamahalaan, ang kasalukuyang Chief Minister at miyembro ng gabinete ang magpapatuloy sa pamamahala ng Barmm. Pero, hindi nila pwedeng aprubahan ang mga kontrata at hindi rin silang pwedeng gumastos ng pampublikong pondo maliban na lang kung pambayad sa sweldo at iba pang gastusin sa mga regular na operasyon sa Barmm. Kailan ginaganap ang halalan sa Barmm? Ang halalan sa Barmm ay ginaganap kasabay ng pambansang halalan sa Pilipinas. Katulad lang rin ng halalan sa ARMM ay sabay rin ito sa halalan ng Pilipinas. Ang mga opisyalis naman ng gobyerno ay maaari lamang maglingkod sa bayan ng hanggang 3 termino lamang. Sa ilalim naman ng ARMM o Republic Act No. Series 6734, ang executive and legislative ay magkaiba at ang bawat sangay ay may kalayaang tumakbo ayon sa kanilang mandato. Ang mga residente naman ang magluluklok sa governor ng rehiyon, vice governor at kinatawan ng Regional Legislative Assembly o RLA. Ito ay ang sangay ng pamahalaan na siyang nagpapasa ng batas at polisya sa rehiyon. Advisory Council. Maliban sa miyembro ng gabinete, ang gobernador ng ARMM ay mayroon ding kinatawang tagapayo o Executive Council na binubuo ng 3 deputy governors na kinatawan ng mga Kristiyano, katutubo at mga Muslim, kasama ang mga governor at vice governor ng mga bawat probinsya. Sa ilalim ng BOL, ang Executive Council ay magiging isang mas komprehensibong Council of Leaders na siyang inatasan na maging tagapagbigay payo sa Chief Minister sa usaping pamamahala sa Barmm. Ang nasabing Council of Leaders ay kinabibilangan ng Chief Minister bilang pinuno ng konseho, kinatawan ng Kongreso mula sa Barmm, gobernador ng bawat probinsya, mga punong lungsod ng mga chartered cities, mga kinatawan ng katutubong hindi Moro, traditional leaders at iba pang sektor ng lipunan.